gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Yeah! Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded, where we cover all of the top sports stories that happened this past week. I am your host, Eric. Main man over there, Ron. How are you tonight?
I feel great. It's a new year.
New year, season 5.
We are on season 5.
Is that
season
not insane?
5, right? The folks at Rhode Island Broadcasting love us. They love us.
They do. We are a staple. I want to thank Danny for already jumping on and getting ready. He's ready to rock and roll.
He is fired up too.
So, Danny, thank you for joining. Again, if you join us live, join the chat. Let us know what you think about the topics we're covering, or if there's something else you want to talk about, let us know as well. First off, want to thank all of our supporters, 990 WBOB and Rhode Island Internet Radio. They have been very supportive, as well as 99.1 WDJY in Dallas, Georgia. You guys have been amazing. SEC TV, public access in Southeast Connecticut. Thank you for airing us as well.
Gotta make a graphic for them.
It's been really cool to be able to continue to grow and expand, and we expect even more in season 5. Looking forward to it. I told you last week, Toronto Maple Leafs won, Ron. You were in doubt. Oh, yeah. Final predictions this week, Ron. You will find out your punishment. And then we start season 5's prediction chart. So stay tuned for that as well.
Cannot lose this year.
Get on an early jump. Canadians last year. Know you love the Canadians. And now you wait to find out. But before we get into all of that, we've got some sports to cover. I hope you're ready. We're ready. And we're going to start off with our leadoff story, and that is college football. Playoffs we're in full swing. Your thoughts on some of the results? So we'll go through the 4 games. We'll start off with number 5, Texas, defeating Arizona State 39-31. What did you think of the game, Ron?
Yeah, that wasn't so much of a surprise. They did what they should have done. It's such a toss-up. I mean, you got one game, and you got to take care of business in that one game. That is the thing that I do like about like football playoffs and the NCAA basketball's March Madness. I do like that one and done. You're either doing it or you're going home.
Yeah, listen, by far, this was probably the most entertaining game. Went to double overtime.
Yeah.
Texas realistically should have lost this game. Arizona could not pull it off in overtime. But I will say this. Arizona State impressed me in one aspect. I don't think, to your point, anybody felt like they should have been here or would have been able to compete against Texas. Did a very good job of that. And then Texas, you've got to worry about where they're at, because realistically, they haven't looked that dominant. They're winning games, but it's close.
Yeah, and it's winning games by the skin of their teeth. I mean, they're not lighting it up like they should have been. They should not have been even a question of whether or not that was a Texas win. Should have been just laying down the iron fist and just taking it to them, and they did not do that.
Yeah, look, I really thought at one point Arizona State came back and tied it, and I said, you know what, they might pull this out. So I was pretty impressed with that. They face now, though, Ohio State, who actually defeated Oregon. This one was a little bit of a shocker, 41-21. I don't even know if the Ducks got off the plane in the first half, because they were down 24-0 before anything ever happened.
Well, again, the teams rise to the occasion, right? So when you're looking at some of these things, and the Oregon Ducks just stunk it up.
Laid a duck, laid an egg.
Well, they just laid an
something.
egg, that's for
They
damn
laid
sure.
something.
I mean, they lost by 20.
It wasn't even close. So the first half
No.
was 24-0, and I'm sitting
Yeah, it
back,
wasn't
I'm watching
close.
the game, and I'm going. I changed the channel. I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah, it was ugly. It was like, I don't know. It's like they forgot who they were. I have no explanations how they went and just did that poorly in every aspect of the game, really. Every aspect. Whether it was defense, offense, coaching.
Yeah.
And this is why Ohio State came through, because they've been around for a while, and in these situations, and there they go.
A lot of talk about
Lost
Day
big.
getting fired from Ohio State, and now
Yeah.
now with this win, I mean, realistically, they're one game away from the championship. If this team seems to have rallied around their coach. I
Yeah.
think that's what we're missing with the Buckeyes here. They've taken all that outside noise and really used it to their advantage to say, look, we're a better team than most. There's no reason why he should get fired, and they proved it against Oregon.
And the thumping of Oregon, right? I mean, this was big. They just put up 41 points against the number one team.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't write these kind of stories. I mean, this is looking like it could be like some movie, finish with a team facing adversity, and then all of a sudden there they are in the thick of things. And it's going to be tough to knock them off this wave.
Yeah, I agree with you. So that'll be Texas versus Ohio State in one of the semis. Let's talk about the other two games. Penn State, the Nittany Lions defeated the Boise State 31-14. Big story here was Aston Genty, the nation's lead in rusher, had over 2,600 yards rushing on the season. Was possibly going to break Barry Sanders' rushing record for a season. Only 106 yards on 30 carries, Ron. Penn State's defense came up to play, and they knew what they had to do, and they did it.
Again, you just mentioned why, right? They didn't want to be the team that gave up that record, even though it's not all against them. Yeah. But that's the thinking. When somebody breaks a record, it is mentioned who was the one that gave up those yards in the final game. So it makes it feel like it's all on them, and they weren't having it.
No, I was really surprised with that. A lot of people were saying Boise State shouldn't have been as high as they were either. Listen, Penn State very quietly too has been playing some very good football, and this next matchup will be very interesting because it's going to be a fun game. Notre Dame defeating Georgia, Ron, was the last game, 23-10. And
yeah, that was startling.
I will say this: Beck being out, the starting quarterback for Georgia, probably didn't help. But again, you look at Notre Dame, and here's another team that kind of the name usually doesn't translate into the same success they had back in the 80s and early 90s. They've done a very good job this season. Listen, to your point, that Georgia team still had enough talent.
Yeah, it still does. I mean, it's surprising that they only scored 10. And I know you don't have your quarterback in there, but still, I mean, they should have put up more than 10 points. They're supposed to be, an elite team. And there was really nothing elite about what they did in that game. I mean, they still gave up 23 points, so they weren't great defensively either. And that could be because they couldn't generate any offense. Notre Dame just stuffed them.
Yeah.
Just stuffed them.
Yeah, never had a chance. So the most interesting thing, Ron, none of the teams that actually got the first round bye won.
Yeah.
Every one of them lost, which is
Every
crazy.
one of them lost.
Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, and Arizona State. Bye in college football may not be the same as it is in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's obvious this year, right? And there's been a lot of years where you get like wild card teams and and just play-in teams can kind of generate some a lump of games in that can get them through. But it's really unusual in college. It's really unusual. I mean, I know we've just recently done these playoffs, like this, but even back when they were doing like the bowl games as, the major championships and stuff like that, it was very rare that those top seeded teams would lose. And this year it's just a mess.
So before we move on, Ron, do you like it? I know it's early stages, but do you like the college football playoffs so far, what we've seen?
I do.
Or do you want to see them tweak it?
No, I think you should just go with what you have right now for a while. Just to make sure. I think because it's so, I don't know, it's so general in how they do the rankings. I mean, you're taking teams that are playing much inferior teams for the most part. And I think a lot of those rankings are skewed because of that, but if those teams at the top are playing teams that are also at the top, that makes it better when you come out with the rankings. And that's why I don't think that Boise should have been there.
But again, I think you win your conference and is
Right.
great. So to me, that's the only part of it I think they need to change.
You're not playing the quality teams.
You may have to just go overall rankings. And even if it was like, hey, 2 SEC teams were in the top 4, like that's what happens.
I mean, this is like the days of the Patriots, right? When they had to play Buffalo, Miami, and Jets, and they were all terrible, so they would always get number 1 seed. It's similar to that. Yeah, and it's not indicative of how good the team is.
No, I agree. Looking forward to this weekend again, because you got some games coming up. So that'll be pretty interesting to see. Again, if you're a college football fan, how do you like the playoffs so far? Any surprises? Let us know. Join the live chat. Let us know what you think.
Absolutely. But
Ron, we're going to talk some NFL.
And there's a lot to talk about in this.
This story's pissing me off, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Okay, so
no, go ahead. So I will say this: Saquon Barkley and the Eagles have decided not to have him play the final game of the season due to the playoffs and getting him some rest. They don't have the bye. Should he have tried to break this record, Ron? Is the question. Would you think overall, like that record stands history of time? So Eric Dickerson, 2,105 yards rushing in 1984. So you're talking 40 years since this record has been broken.
Because it's the age of the quarterback, right? And this is very rare at this point to have a guy that puts up these numbers. And I would love to see him break the record. But at the same point, you got to get ready for the playoffs. And I wouldn't risk anything right now because Philadelphia needs to take that other step.
I don't
The
know.
next step.
I don't remember when it was, but this has happened in the past.
And I know what you're going to say.
A guy sat, right, because the playoffs come in, and then like the first play of the playoffs, he blows out his knee. So again, anything's possible. Mike McCarthy heading to the Bears. I don't think so, Danny. I really don't think that's going to happen. But that's where I say it. To me, it doesn't make sense. And on top of it, Ron, you're playing your former team.
Yes.
I would love to do that against the New York Giants.
Yes. But how sweet would it be if the Giants win? How sweet would that be for Barkley? You know why it would be sweet? Because if the Giants win, then the pick for the 2025 draft, they would have 7 or 8, and they wouldn't get their quarterback of the future.
Well, they already gave us the Patriots a gift by winning last week.
Yes.
And now New England's saying they're going to try to win this game, and Buffalo's probably going to sit everybody.
No, they better not try to win that game.
They're starting May. There's a lot of questions on why would you do that. I don't know what the thought process is going on in New England either. You got the number 1 pick,
right?
You make sure you hold on to it now. At where you're at as a franchise,
exactly, because now you have a quarterback sitting there. If you feel that Drake May is a future contender for a Super Bowl, which he may be. I love what I've seen. But you could either trade May or trade that first pick.
I heard one of the most interesting ones. You trade Drake May to Tennessee, who has the number 2 pick. Then you pick up Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, basically pairing them in the pros. It's an interesting thought.
It is an interesting thought.
But I would say that I don't think New England's going to make the right move regardless. The fact that you're even trying to play to win this game, and Buffalo's sitting everybody, because here we go with the same thing that we're talking about with Barkley. I'm not taking a chance of Allen getting hurt, or, you know what I mean, Amari Cooper, one of those guys that we know is vital to the offense. New England may be in a boat where they're going to probably win this game.
That would be tragic. It would be tragic. And look, I still think they're going to screw up the draft no matter what they're going to do. They may keep Drake May, and that's fine with me. I like Drake May.
What do you do at 1? You're not drafting. So I want Hunter, right?
Right.
But I don't see him being a number 1 pick. He could realistically go number 1, but I don't feel like he's that deciding player that's going to change their franchise and go forward.
Yeah, see, I fear that the Patriots drop out of like the top 10 completely and fail to get what they need, and that is a receiver. And that's what I fear. And Tennessee is thinking the same thing. What if the Giants trade up to that number 1 spot? Our number 1 spot is really important right now. Let me tell you, if they don't rake somebody over the coals for that number 1 pick, I'm going to be pissed.
Okay, it's going to be an interesting offseason. Let's get through Sunday though. Saturday and Sunday. Ron, week 18 already of the NFL. We're on season 5. Like, time flies. This season's over. This is the last week of the season. I'm sure there's games of interest that everybody should be watching.
Yes, and there's actually quite a few of them.
I have 5.
I was surprised.
I have 5.
I actually have 6.
Yeah, I could see that.
And most of them go hand in hand.
Because of the playoffs scenario.
Because of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because the first one which should be an amazing game, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, because it's like it's all trying to get placement, right? Pittsburgh can still take that top spot.
No,
they can't.
They could possibly win the division if Baltimore.
Well, that's what I mean. The division.
Yes. The division.
Baltimore.
Yes.
So whether or not Baltimore plays all their players or not, I don't know. But Pittsburgh wants that top spot.
Bengals are still alive. Them and the Dolphins. Them and the Dolphins are still alive.
So, look, if Denver or Miami wins, Cincinnati is out. But don't you just look at this and say this is ripening for the taking for Cincinnati?
If the Bengals can pull this off, this may be one of the greatest comebacks ever, because they were basically, dead to rights. We gave up on the Bengals. And the Chiefs already said, so the second game I had was Chiefs at Broncos. Mahomes is not playing. Carson Wentz is definitely starting. At Denver, who played them very well early in the season, only lost on that blocked field goal.
So Denver should win this game and just quiet everybody down.
Right, and knocks out the Bengals. But then again, they lose. Bengals win. Miami lose. The Bengals get in.
Right.
Talk about an unbelievable run.
And you just don't know, right? You just don't know what's going to happen with that Denver-Kansas City game. Like, I think that Denver should win the game and they go on. And yes, it is what it is, right? That's what's expected, because Kansas City isn't going to play anybody. But why do I feel like something can go really screwy? Right. Like it was earlier in the year, and then just craziness happens, right?
I will say this, too. I'm going to go out on a limb.
Playing the Jets.
I know. It should be a win, too. I am going out on a limb right now, Ron. You're hearing it here first. Sports Unfolded. You take this to the bank. I don't care what anybody says. If the Bengals pull this off, I know Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, that debate for MVP, to me, Joe Burrow gets it. Because the fact that you could carry that team, because that defense has been horrible all year, and he's been so good all year, and you get your team to the postseason when you were pretty much dead. You were done 5-6 weeks ago. People were pretty much like, you need to win every game. To me, Joe Burrow becomes the MVP of the league.
I mean, it is possible.
It should be.
People do love a comeback story. And I was stunned how bad they were playing, because I had picked them to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And they do not look like any of that. But that offense has been
right. If he can get
fire.
That team, how do you not consider him the MVP? Josh Allen, very good. But again, Buffalo's kind of a better built team. I know they lost a lot of pieces, but that defense has played pretty well. He's put up great numbers. So has Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow carried the Bengals. Like, if he didn't play well at all, they would probably have 4 or 5 wins. They are a game out.
He wasn't playing well. I don't know if they'd have 4 or 5 wins.
Right? So they're a game out of the postseason right now. If he can get them in, to me, give him the MVP, because that's a story.
How bad do you think they want that Patriot game all over?
Right? That one hurt them.
That hurt them. Because that's the game they needed.
Come on. New England was on fire week 1. After that, I don't know. Somebody got the fire extinguisher and just doused it. All over. Yeah, what else do you got for games?
That Miami Jets game, right? Because you would think that Miami has to play everybody, right? They got to play everybody.
Definitely playing everybody.
New Jersey doesn't have. New York doesn't have to do anything. I don't know where that came from. New York doesn't have to do anything. They don't have to play anybody. What happens if they win?
But the story here too is a lot of talk. Is this Aaron Rodgers' last game?
Could be.
He didn't shut it down either. He said this possibly could be my last game in the NFL. So now there's reason for him to want to win and go out on top, right? So now that you see that, maybe they try to win for their coach, because again, they already said that he's going to be replaced. They've already interviewed 2 guys, right? One of them being Vrabel. Ron Rivera as well, candidate. I can't believe Ron Rivera is still kicking in the NFL as a head coach.
There's a lot on the line for the Jets. Whether it is playing for jobs for next year or just for some dignity.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Miami needs to win.
This is not a cakewalk for for Miami.
Jets don't need to win. Miami does. Guess what? Aaron Rodgers may say, look, I'm going to just put on a show. This is my last game in the NFL.
Right.
So that'll be interesting. Going along with your theme, Ron, I have Panthers at Falcons because obviously Atlanta has to win.
I got that one too.
Right? Then you got the Saints at the Bucks. Now, neither one of these teams are playing any team that they shouldn't be able to beat, and something's going to happen.
So it's going to be who's going to be the one with egg on their face,
right? Like they're due.
It's going to happen.
And the weird thing is the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. This story has been so good all season because you really right. Like you're kind of rooting for him to get in because you're like, you know what? He's played well. He's kind of rebuilt his career into something that he's a solid quarterback.
Yeah.
But the Saints have been so bad. It's like the biggest setup to say, hey, look, they win this game. The Falcons beat the Panthers. Next thing you know, they're out of the playoffs. I don't know who has more pressure.
Yeah, well, Tampa Bay and Atlanta, I think there's enough pressure to be shared between both. It's just which team could come out of whatever they're in and surprise one of them.
Austin, thanks for joining. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if both of them lost.
Ron, if the Panthers and the Saints were playing each other, we'd probably sit back and go, it's probably a tie, 0-0. Both these games are probably going to be like 35, 32.
Who's Carolina's quarterback?
Bryce Young. He's back in. Kid's back in. Andy Dalton didn't last very long.
And New Orleans is Carr?
I know he got hurt and they got some, I don't even know who it is at this point. I couldn't even tell you. Maybe somebody out there knows, but
that's how much I've paid attention to New Orleans Saints.
The Saints have been horrible, but not as bad as New England. Ron, and obviously, Bryce is right, baby. The Bryce is right. What about?
Oh, we got Bryce in there.
Yeah, Bryce Young. Bryce, thanks for joining.
Go.
What about this game? This has got to be like 5-star. It's the last game of the year, too. So they made sure it's the Sunday night game. There's no Monday night games. Minnesota, the Vikings, at the Detroit Lions for the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah, and they both have to play all their players for it.
Yes.
Because
and then the loser drops to like 6.
It's to win, like to be the number 1 seed.
Yeah. The loser of this too. Not even that part of it, Ron. Because yes, you get the bye.
You're like what, 5 seed?
Yeah, become 5-6, I think it is. Like you automatically you're going on the road, you're playing somebody at home. Like this game's so important. You
either get the bye or you have to play Green Bay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I am sitting back, and this is a game that I am going to make sure I am watching. And if you're a football fan,
all the pressure is on Detroit because Minnesota's not supposed to be there.
No, nobody expected this from Minnesota this year. Nobody. Nope. And the Lions with all their injuries, but you're home. You're home, and that should make a difference.
We'll see.
I
don't
just
know how much of a difference that's going to make with Minnesota.
We are going to do our predictions at the end of the show. This is one of the games, so stay tuned so you can make your picks for the brand new season 5 prediction chart. Got a lot of people out there, so
I'm
stay
waiting
tuned.
for James to show up. He was tied for the lead with you last week,
So
he gets a prize.
Yeah, stay tuned. Make sure you get your name on the new chart coming out for 2025, season 5 of Sports Unfolded. That's been some NFL talk.
Well, maybe I can make some fancy graphics for it.
Maybe you could. I would really say that it's going to be a fun year. I really feel really good about this season 5. I hope everybody out there does. Tell all your friends too. Come join us. Like, share, follow this show, because I'm going to tell you right now, the best sports podcast on the planet.
It is.
And you cannot get this kind of entertainment anywhere else. Plus, you can tell us off if you want. We've had that happen a few times. Ron got a boyfriend in 2024. So, I mean, what else is new?
I wonder what happened to that guy.
I know, right? As soon as he found out you weren't interested, Ron, you see what you did? Ron, let's have some more fun with this starting 5.
Oh.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So I need everybody to pull up 2001, because episode 1. So we said, let's have a little fun. 2001 first round NFL draft picks. Who would be your starting 5? And if you're joining us live on the chat and you pull that up, let us know if you agree, if there's somebody in the draft that we missed. So Ron, you are first this week. So your honorable mentions.
My honorable mentions, and let me tell you, I might get some flack for this. My 9th guy on my list, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, my 9th guy on my list, Nate Clements. I thought he had a pretty good career. Yeah. It wasn't great, but those numbers are pretty impressive. 669 solo tackles really stood out to me because it was the best on the whole list, the whole first round. My number 8, Marcus Stroud. When I looked at the list, I thought he was going to be in, and I'm like, no. But I'll put him as an honorable mention. Number 7, this actually surprised me. Justin Smith's numbers were really nice. He had some nice numbers, 5 Pro Bowls, and an All-Pro, but just wasn't enough to get in. And my number 6 bubble guy, still in the honorable mentions, though, the bubble, Michael Vick was on the bubble for me.
Michael Vick on my honorable mention as well. As crazy as it sounds, Michael Vick. I had also Andre Carter, 80.5 sacks, honorable mention. Yep. And I really thought I was going to have this guy on my list. And then there's a wide receiver on this list that it was way better after the numbers.
Santana
Moss, 732 receptions, over 10,000 yards receiving. I'm like, wow, this guy's going to be on my top 5. And then I'm like, wait, there's somebody else. And I think it's that guy in the middle. So
could be this guy.
All right. So Ron, let's get this 2025 season 5 Sports Unfolded episode starting 5. Your number 5.
My number 5, and I really didn't even have him in my mind at all. I put Casey Hampton at number 5. Look, Casey Hampton, he was a 5-time Pro Bowler. Uh-huh. He also won 2 Super Bowls. 2 Super Bowls. It's modest numbers, but he did play 173 games. He had 4 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 9 sacks, 231 solo tackles. But he was a nose tackle, so he wasn't going to get those big numbers. Right. But he was massive.
Yes.
And he couldn't be moved. Agreed. And that stuffed the runs right up the gut. They couldn't do it with him there.
No. I'm going to give you one of these. Number 5. Casey Hampton. I agree. That's how I saw it. Those 2 championships definitely helped elevate them. And then your point, I used the position. They're not glamour positions. They're not rushing the
No.
quarterback. He did his job. He did it well, and he got them 2 championships. 19th overall pick by Pittsburgh in the 2001 draft at nose tackle.
What a
Casey
great
Hampton.
player he was.
He was. Number 4, Ron.
Number 4, I have this guy right here at number 4, Reggie Wayne.
Ooh.
I didn't have him higher because
Wow.
the big guys were just too good.
Wow.
Look, Reggie Wayne, 211 games played, so he was very durable. 1,070 receptions with 14,345 yards. He averaged 13.4. And I know early in his career he was more of a speedster, so he would be going down, the sidelines and trying to get those deep passes. As he got older, he started going more towards the middle, and he was very valuable to some certain quarterback that I can't quite remember his name.
Who's that guy?
Who's that guy?
Big forehead guy. I know. It's
Yeah,
on the tip of my tongue.
82 touchdowns isn't so bad.
No.
He also had Marvin Harrison there too. So
at the beginning part of his career, yeah.
Right. And when Marvin Harrison was gone, he was able to take that number 1 spot. He was that good. 6 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro, and of course, 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, I may have him a little higher. At 4 for me, Steve Hutchinson. Like the big man, the guard, drafted number 17th overall by the Seattle Seahawks. 169 games started, a 7-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, no championships. That kind of hurt him for me. So I put him at number 4. I love offensive linemen.
You have your 2 and 4 flip-flopped.
Probably. We'll see. So who do you have at 3?
I do have LaDainian Tomlinson, which is where you have him. Number 3. If not, I'm surprised. Because, frankly, he just doesn't have the awards and accolades to be higher than that. Look, I love the fact that he had over 13,000 yards. And he had 4.3 yards per carry, which is really, really good. 145 touchdowns, which is unbelievably well, right? Great numbers. 5 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pro, and a 2006 MVP. Great. I love it. But he didn't have any of those rings.
Okay.
He didn't have the rings.
All right. We definitely saw this one different because at 3 for me.
I guess so.
At 3 for me,
so.
Richard Seymour.
Yeah.
326 tackles, 57.5 sacks, 7 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros, 3 championships. Yes, great player. Drafted number 6 overall by the New England Patriots in 2001. I don't know. I felt like it could have been better. 57.5 sacks to me.
No,
it's not bad, but the 3 championships put him to 3 for me.
He was so good, Eric. They decided to do everything on the opposite side of the field. That's why he suffered with the numbers. He's that good.
All right. I can see your point too. Who do you have at 3? 2. We're at 2.
I have Steve Hutchinson. I just thought he was just fantastic. I mean, probably one of maybe the top 10 guards of all time. I think he's that good. His numbers are just outstanding. He played 169 games and got 169 starts. So he was the guy, the moment he went into the lineup at the draft and never came out as a starter. 7 Pro Bowls, 5 All-Pro, the Hall of Famer. I mean, 5 All-Pro is better than anybody on this list.
Yeah.
He just didn't have
the hardware, the ring. That's what I'm saying.
The ring.
But all right. So at 2 for me, I had number 30, Indiana So Indianapolis Colts, Reggie Wayne.
Oh, you had Reggie Wayne there.
I had Reggie Wayne at number 2. 1,076 receptions, Ron, is pretty damn impressive. 14,345 yards, 82 touchdowns, 6 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro. I had him at 2. So number 1, you must have.
I have Richard Seymour at number 1. And it's just like I said, a lot of the numbers aren't there because he was just so good. He had to get double attention at that line. And then every time he was out there, they went to the other side of the field just to negate Seymour. And that's exactly what they did the whole time. They just go to the other side because they don't want anything to do with Seymour on that side. So wherever he lined up, the play was going to the other side. And if you look back at all the tape, you can see clearly they don't want part of him. And he's such a disruptor. He had to have 2 guys on him just to stop him. And that's how they played against the Patriots. And that is a sure way to lose, which the Patriots ended up winning partially because of that reason.
Okay.
Because of that reason. And then you throw the hardware on top of it. 3 rings? Come on. And plus, I don't like the crybaby
2001. I think Sean Taylor was not. Deuce McAllister was. Ray Joanne was. Gerard Warren was. There's some guys on there that weren't in the 2001 first round.
Yeah, Drew Brees for sure.
First round.
Sean Taylor.
Had to be a first rounder. I will say I went LaDainian Tomlinson at 1. Number 5 overall. Drafted by San Diego Chargers. And I don't like him. He's a Patriot hater forever.
Yeah, he's a crybaby. So he was only going to get 3rd.
Excuse me.
Yes, I couldn't. I put him there for spite.
Yeah, I know you would. Because 145 touchdowns, and then I think he had 17 more. Was ridiculous. Like 162 touchdowns overall. An MVP, Offensive Player of the Year. Just too good enough. I don't like him. But again, number 1 overall for me in the 2001 would have been LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yep.
That was a good list. Number 1, first one of the year. First one of the year.
You want to know what I love about this list? It had a lot of the big guys at the line.
Right? It wasn't because you always think you're going to get the wide receiver quarterbacks, right? There wasn't a lot of great quarterbacks in that draft.
There was only one
in the first round. In the first round. All right, let's talk some NBA, Ron.
Wait, wasn't there some guy that was like last round or 6th round or something?
2000.
Oh, it was the year before. Okay.
Yeah.
Year before.
The rest is history. We will.
Yeah.
I mean, you might know him. He's over there. He's right there. That guy right there.
Yeah. I know him. Keep trying to get him to come on the show, but
yeah, he's got that big contract with Fox. I'm sure they don't let him do it. The Sacramento Kings.
See, he'd fit in better here.
Oh, of course he would. They have fired head coach Mike Brown. Do you think it was the right time? Is this what they should have done to Mike Brown?
It depends on how you feel, Eric. Do you think that
glad you asked me.
Underachieving?
I think.
Or did they overachieve 2 years ago?
We did a great job of doing a special on some of the worst franchises, and we said there's a trend. There's a trend, and it's usually
with the title,
right? It's a trend because usually they end up getting rid of their coaches all the time. So he's in his 3rd season. He's won the first 2 seasons. He had a winning record. The first year got him to the postseason. Last year they were 40. What were they? Hold on, 46-36. 10 games over 500. Just the West is a very tough conference. Did not make the postseason. At 46-36.
They came in like 3rd in the East.
They would have exactly. So it blows my mind that he's 109-89 in his career with them, a 55% win percentage. So it's not like he's losing. He's winning more games than he's losing. He's built a very good young team. And DeAndre Fox, he's got a lot of good players.
they're having
Sabonis,
growing pains.
right? Sabonis, they're starting off slow this year. Here you go again now, bringing Doug Christie, who hasn't coached, Mike Brown, who's been a head coach, who knows how to get out of these slumps. I think this was the worst time and the worst thing for the Kings.
I absolutely agree.
There had to be something going on,
they're a good team.
backstage.
They're a good team. Look, they're young. Okay, they have a lot of young players, and this is growing pains. Okay, that's exactly what this is. There's a couple of guys on the team that just can't get it going for whatever reason it is, and you got to just kind of ride it out, really. And they're not so far back that they can't recuperate and jump back in. But
what were they, 15 and 19?
now you have a guy that's inexperienced that's got to do this. And frankly, I don't think he has it in him. There'll be a bump like there always is with a new coach, and then they'll just fall back into
something
what
like
they
the
were
Bruins. So let me ask you this question, Ron. Do you know what year the Sacramento Kings actually moved to Sacramento?
I have no idea.
1985. So actually 40 years ago. They've had two head coaches with winning records. Guess who's one of them? Mike Brown. Rick Adelman was the other.
Yeah.
So you're firing a coach that's had one of the only coaches, one of two coaches that has had success in your organization, and you fire him after what, 36 games? 36 games.
It makes no sense to me.
Or 34 games, whatever it was. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And I don't want this just sets them back again. And here you go again. Now it's a rebuild for another 2-3 years. And you think
right, because what's going to happen is now the team isn't going to feel good about themselves. And like I said, you'll have a bump and then you'll just fall right back into what you were doing. And come trade deadline, they're going to trade somebody away.
And De'Aaron Fox, who is their best player, has already stated that he wants a trade. He wants out.
There we go.
So,
see, this is how it is because they had a coach that believed in them and was trying everything to get them out of it. And they didn't give him time to see how the season played out. When you have a winning coach, you gotta give him time. For the most part,
like if the guy had a losing record throughout, to your point, Ron, I say, all right, he's had 2 winning seasons. He's 4 games under 500 this season. You fire him.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
I think he was too close to the team for them to want to play for somebody else.
I don't know if you heard, but there was a story that came out that basically he was on his way to go to practice, and they called him in his car and fired him that way. So a lot of criticism on the organization that basically, no balls is what exactly the words that were said. Like, this organization has no ball. Like, they couldn't even let the man get to the facility, talk through it, and then make a decision. They fired him driving to practice.
Wow.
Like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Pretty crazy. That's just a lack of respect. And then you wonder why this franchise sucks.
Yeah. And I think, again, you're going to see it. You're going to see it again. You're going to see it again. Wrong time. I think we both agree.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's talk some Major League Baseball. There was a big signing. Corbin Burns is now officially an Arizona Diamondback. Are you surprised by his choice to go to Arizona?
No, not really. I think he might be a guy that would rather play for a smaller market.
I thought the same thing, and then I found out they're actually from the Phoenix area. His family, his wife made this decision, so that kind of made some sense because there was more money offered by other teams.
Yeah.
Here's what blows my mind, Ron, though. When we talk about putting somebody over a barrel, I have to use that term. He pretty much owns the Diamondbacks now for whatever years that he has. So 6 years,
210 million or something like
6 years, 210 million, right? He's 30 years old. It puts him at $35 million a year, which is the 5th highest in all starting pitchers. So already he's one of the top 5 paid pitchers. He has an opt-out after 2 years. But in that opt-out, if he doesn't opt out, it's like $20 million deferred money he gets, or then they pay him $10 million installments for 2027, 28. If he fulfills all 6 years, then he receives $10 million in 2031 and 2032, $11 million for each season from 2033 to 2036. This is like a Bobby Bonilla deal. He's getting paid for the next 11 years on a 6-year deal.
I think it sounds
Pretty
to me
good.
like some LA Dodger accounting.
And then, Ron, and then he has a no trade clause for the first 2 years. You can't trade him. Period. Cannot move him. After that, he can give them 14 teams each season that he'd be willing to go to, or no, that he will not go to. So when you talk about a player controlling the entire aspect, I'm surprised any team wanted to sign him if he was trying to get all these deals put in place.
The reason for this is because, it's like certain teams have a habit of going for it 1 year. San Diego Padres, Florida Marlins, or Miami Marlins, whatever the hell they're called now.
They did this with Greinke too, right? Arizona.
So
big deal. That one.
Right now they're a contender.
They're like 2 years removed, right, from the World Series. Like we think of it that way.
Right. So they have a pretty good team. Him going there gives them a chance. Gives them a really good chance. I think they're going to be ahead of the Padres. They might even move ahead of other teams, like maybe even Atlanta, because they just got done losing their guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you look at it, it might be worth going there for a couple of years with a no trade clause. And it might be great for Arizona for that as well, because now they can contend at least for 2 years, and then they trade everybody away. And that's why he wanted the 2 years.
I will say this. I mean, only issue is you're in a division with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Odds are you're gonna have to get in with a wild card because you're not winning the division. And I think that sometimes if I'm a player, I'm straying away from. It's like in the NFL, people don't want to play in the AFC West because the Chiefs are going to win it. They 9 years in a row or whatever it is, something crazy.
Right.
Like, why would you want to play? And that's why, like, when you talked about New England earlier when they were the dynasty,
nobody else could get a play.
Why would you want to play for the Jets, Dolphins? I'm not playing for them. I already know I'm not getting in.
Right.
So this move is interesting. To your point, they have the talent. You're not winning the division. How many playoff games do you get? You may not get those opportunities because the Padres are still a good team too. That's a tough division. So I'd be interested to see how that works out.
Yeah.
But big deal. 6 years, 210.
Yeah, it's a really big deal.
Good deal for him.
He's a good pitcher.
Now, what do you got? What's the best of the best now? Scherzer and
we'll talk about that in a little bit.
All right, Ron. Let's move on. Great talk. Let us know. Do you like the Corbin Burns deal to Arizona? Was it smart? Do you like it? We are moving on, Ron, to our split decisions. Our split decision segment. Basically, we each ask each other 2 more likely questions, and we have to make a decision. You are first this week, Ron. So I am patiently waiting for your
yeah. So, like I said, we'll have to wait till later to talk about it. Well,
how
it's
later? Right now. Okay.
Right now.
All right.
So basically, you have Scherzer, Verlander. They were the top paid pitchers that are available right now from last year.
Who are going to get significantly less this season.
It's looking like it.
Oh, yeah.
And also there is that Charlie Morton guy who's, a little up there.
Yeah.
And the fourth guy that was actually third in pay, Patrick something. Patrick Corbin, I believe it's supposed to be. No, not Corbin. I don't know. Well, anyway, he's not a part of the thing
All
anyway.
right. Okay.
But those four are the top four paid that are available, for free agency.
Okay.
So who is more likely to be off the board first? Max Scherzer at 40.4 years old, Justin Verlander at 41.8 years old, or Charlie Morton at 41.1 years old? Who's going to be off the board first?
I think I'm going Verlander because of his success with Houston, because it's a little more recent. Like it was 2 years ago. He was really dominant for Houston. I can't remember. Scherzer was he was in and out more than he was playing and didn't really contribute to his teams for the postseason as much. So I'm going Verlander. Justin Verlander or Bieber. Verlander. Okay, Justin Verlander. I think Danny agrees with me. I'm going Verlander.
Yeah, I was thinking that because he does have better postseason numbers. That is true.
So if you're a team that you're expected to make the postseason, he may not be a bad guy to put in.
But here's the catch, Eric. You got Verlander and Scherzer clearly. What, they were making like $45 million a year or something like that. Wouldn't Charlie Morton cost a lot less?
I don't think Verlander or Scherzer though are getting anything over 20. If they get that,
I don't know if any team's even offering these guys that.
That's what I'm saying. So if they're gonna play,
why I think Charlie Morton might be the first one because he's just going to settle for like $10 million and call it good.
Depends on Verlander wants to go another year or two. Then he may say, "Hey, look, I'll take $10 million and I'll do it."
Yeah, I don't know if he'd take $10 million.
I don't know. I'd go. All right, Ron. Good question though. Danny agreed with me. Justin Verlander.
No,
all right.
Good.
Ron, is it more likely the Patriots hold on to the number one pick, win, but still keep the number one pick, or win and lose the number one pick? What is more likely?
Oh God. See, I'm the pessimist, and I feel that they're gonna screw this up no matter what.
Gonna win. Gonna do it.
So I think we're going to win and we're going to lose that number one pick.
Isn't it insane to think about right now? Never wanted a loss so bad. They're going to screw it up. They're going to mess it up. All you're going to do is lose. You hold on to it.
What does Bob Kraft want?
That's what do you think he would say right now? He's probably in there with Mayo.
I can picture this. I can picture this. Patriots up 20-0 at halftime. Bob Kraft goes down into the locker room, fires Gerard Mayo, and just throws like the janitor as the head coach for the rest of the game, and they come back and lose.
Danny agrees with you, win and lose the number one pick. This is Bob Kraft before the game. Gerard, I'm going to tell you one thing and one thing only. I had a feeling in my gut you were going to do the best thing for this New England Patriot team. If you even think about winning, pack your bags. I know. Yeah, just pack your bags. Pack your bags. There's the bus.
I think it does come down to that, Eric. I think if he wins this game and they lose that number one pick, I think he's fired.
Because what? The Raiders have won like 2 straight, and they went from 1 to like 8, and everybody's pissed off at them. Like, it makes no sense. Makes no sense. You hold on to the one pick, but all right. So win and lose the number one pick. That's what we're looking forward to this week. All right. What do you got for your second split decision, Ron?
All right. My second. Who is more likely to win Rookie of the Year? So that I can read my writing.
Oh boy.
Lad McConkey.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas Jr.?
Ooh,
So McConkey of the LA Chargers, Neighbors of the New York Giants, and Thomas of Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. Yeah,
I know, obviously, the other guy, Jaden Daniels, is probably going
Oh
to
yeah,
win.
he's going to win. If more likely to win if he didn't win.
Right.
I would say McConkey, because the fact that Chargers are doing so well.
Yeah.
Giants, what, 3 wins, and Jacksonville, I think, is around the same 3-4 wins. So I could see them doing that because of the success the team has had.
Yeah.
And he crushed the pager. What do you have? 3? I think he had 3 touchdowns just in that game. Neighbors. A lot of people like Neighbors. He missed some time too, Neighbors. And think about the quarterback situation with the Giants.
6 touchdowns.
Yeah, but think about the quarterback situation too. He's had to play through so many different quarterbacks that I think it actually hurt him.
Still had 1,100 yards.
Yeah, I think it hurt him though. Like, I think this kid could have been really good if he had consistency.
And McConkey has 7 touchdowns, and Thomas Jr. has 10 touchdowns, who also had the most yards of everybody.
Yeah. No, he's a much better receiver. I just think the records sometimes hurt you.
Yeah, because they're a winning team.
Yeah, and that's why when we were talking about MVP, right? It's kind of the same thing. They look at the record, and Josh Allen would move ahead, or Lamar Jackson before Joe Burrow. All right, Ron. This is an interesting one. Let's see how you feel about this one. Now all these teams are already in. That's why I've picked these players. Which NFL quarterback is more likely to win his first championship? Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, or Jared Goff? Now, again, all 4 of these teams are already in the postseason. That's why I didn't pick some others, because they're not in yet. These guys are definitely in the postseason. Which one would be more likely to win his first championship? Let me know if you need the 4 names again.
That's a tough one, because there is a road for each of these teams to do it. And it's not a good one for most. Jalen Hurts might have the best road there, because he's not going to have to face, both Minnesota and Detroit. He's not going to have to face, probably might not even have to face either of them when you think about this, because I think they're going to end up playing whoever comes in seventh, right?
Which would probably be Tampa Bay, Atlanta. No, they're going to be 4th. One of them's 4th. So who is 7th? Somebody's already in. They're already in. Go ahead. I'm going to look it up while you.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be.
Danny agrees
Washington.
with you.
It's got to be Washington. No. Yeah,
No.
Washington.
No, I don't think 7th.
Because I don't know. Because 1 is going to be the Minnesota or Detroit.
Yep.
2 is going to be Philly. 3 is going to be.
If it ends right now, 7 is the Packers. So it's
we're going to have to play the Packers.
Philly versus the Packers. If it ends the way it ends.
Right.
And right now, Vikings and
Tampa Bay would be, or Atlanta would be number 4.
Whoever loses that game goes 5 seed. So they'll play the winner of the Bucks Falcons.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is it's going to be crazy. With all that being said, anyway, I'm going to go with Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Wow. Danny said Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts. NFC.
He would be my second choice, but that
AFC one scares me because of Mahomes. I just don't know. I mean, every year we keep saying it's going to happen, and he keeps winning. But Danny, since you've been so great this episode, do you have a more likely question you want to ask us? Is there a more likely question that you have that we could debate? Let's see. This is something new. Let's try this because he's answering these. He's got his own. He thinks Neighbors. He went Jalen Hurts. Patriots win
Yeah, I
and
just
lose.
laid out the great thing for Jalen Hurts to be picked.
And Verlander. Jared Goff, though. Why are you sleeping on Goff? You don't think the Lions could do it, huh?
Well, because I'm really thinking that Minnesota's going to win that game, and then Detroit is going to have to play their way in, and
I still think they
there's
beat.
too many chances for mistakes of coaching.
If they can't beat the Bucks or the Falcons, it's a little scary. But all right, Danny, if you think of one, you could put it up there, and we'll definitely read it off. A more likely question. But we're going to talk some NHL while we wait. Ron, do you still feel like the Winter Classic is something the NHL should be doing every year?
Wait, why don't
the
you ask
NBA
the original question that you were going to ask?
In the NBA, who is more likely to be drafted to the Lakers? Oof.
Oh, so you have to give us choices.
Yeah.
It's either more likely this guy or more likely that guy.
So give us a couple names. Let us know. Who you think?
I don't think LeBron has any more sons that are playing, right?
His son just got signed. His son signed with who did he sign with? No, it wasn't Arizona. LeBron's youngest son signed.
Well, yeah, but not eligible to be drafted. Well, maybe. I guess he is eligible.
Well, not this year, next year. Yeah, I guess not this upcoming. Well, no, not this the following year. LeBron Steady might play another 5. Anyway, is it worth the NHL having the Winter Classic every year?
I think it is. But here's the thing. First thing is you have to stop with these other open air hockey games, these other arena outdoors games that they have. They have too many of them. Second, what you really need to do is put the Stanley Cup teams that played in that.
I thought about that. I said, get the last season's Stanley Cup, and make it one big thing. Here's the rematch, right?
Right, and that's the first time they play. They can't play before that. I
agree with that. Dorian Fox, Mitchell, or Allen from the Cleveland Cavaliers. So we talking trade?
No. I think he wants us to pick which one is better.
Dorian.
So Fox, Mitchell, or Allen?
From the Cavs. Ooh, so Jared Allen. It's got to be Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell's just the kid. He was always good. Even in Utah, he was one of my favorite players.
Donovan Mitchell is definitely the best player on that team.
Without a doubt. So, Ron, let's get back to this NHL Winter Classic. I agree with that theory. I said that might make it more intriguing. But I looked at it this way, and I came at it a different angle. This drew the lowest audience to date of all of the Winter Classics. So it's been 7 years.
You know why?
It's 2 teams nobody wanted to see. Blues, Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Nobody really cared. 920,000 viewers. First time under 1 million.
Yeah.
The only time it actually did really well was the first year in 2019 with almost 3 million viewers. And that was the Boston one. I forgot. I think they played the Blackhawks. It was Boston because there was so much excitement around. Holy cow, we haven't seen this before.
Because those teams were battling all the time.
But it was fun. I think they should go every few years and make it more enticing now to say, wow, I really want to see this again because I haven't seen it in a few years. I think people are getting bored with it. They did it twice this year because then the Kraken and the Knights.
That's the problem.
And that game was the second lowest. So the 2 games they had this year have the lowest ratings or viewership that they ever had.
They're putting crap teams. I don't care if there's a rivalry with Chicago and St. Louis. They both suck. I
can't wait.
You put Florida versus Edmonton in Edmonton. You got yourself
Why
a
wouldn't
very
you do
highly rated game.
do two Canadian teams? I'm sure
I'm
that
just
would go
saying,
well.
like, look, there could be this weird season where Dallas plays Florida in the Stanley Cup, right? And then you can't do it because they're both in the South. But if that's the case, then you just take whoever's further up north, and you go
But then
there.
even make it like a Super Bowl. To your point, then do it somewhere where like do it in Michigan, those two teams.
Right, you can do that.
Right?
And
Like
that's
do it
fine.
something like now you're like, holy cow, this is really intriguing.
Right.
Neither one's a home team. There's the rivalry
Yep.
from last year in the Stanley
It's no
Cups.
different than football going to freaking England.
Right?
You
Like do
know?
something different. Go to
So-
Iceland. Huh?
Yeah, you could do that
Huh?
actually.
Huh?
No, you could do that.
Right?
That
That's what
actually
I'm
is pretty
saying.
good.
Right? And make it like, holy cow, this is crazy.
Yeah. So that's what I would do. I would have put Florida versus Edmonton, put them up in Edmonton this year, and that should have been the one. But no, they keep putting these rivalries that absolutely suck. They suck something.
Hey, family show, buddy. Family show.
But that's the way. And all these other outdoor games, you got to stop those because those are stupid. There's no point in having a random outdoor game, in Calgary. And
Well, what's a lot? Seattle. They did it in Seattle to try to. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know.
And that's why the luster is gone. That's why.
So you would still do it every year. You would just change the format.
I would still do it, but you got to make it special. And I think the Stanley Cup champion versus the loser of that series should play. And if there is, somebody that isn't cold weather, then you go to like say Iceland or something like that. I have no problem with that. Go to Sweden. I think the players would love it.
I'm not a big college basketball guy, so I couldn't probably tell you. Dorian Fox, Donovan Mitchell. So there's a Donovan Mitchell that is in college, and Allen. I don't know which Allen. I don't know. It depends on how good they are because obviously the Lakers are going to probably draft in the mid rounds.
Well, I don't think they'll go with Dorian Fox because they already had a Fox.
Rick Fox, baby.
And he didn't do so great for them.
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not a college basketball.
I'm guessing Allen.
All right.
You got to go with the one name guy.
Oh, I like it. I like your theory. Get rid of the Winter Classic. That's what we came up with. Good call. All right.
No, I didn't say that.
Allen Cleveland Cavaliers. So they're trading.
I don't know.
I don't think they.
He's all over the place.
I don't know. Cavs on trading Allen. They're doing too well.
Yeah, they're not trading anybody.
Yeah, they got the best record.
It would be somebody off the bench if they trade anyone, and it isn't going to be anybody good. They're going to give a whole bunch of crap to someone to get somebody that can put in minutes on the bench. That's all it is.
All right, Ron, you ready? We are going to talk some NBA with our pick and roll.
It's time for pick and roll.
Number one episode of season 5. We went with some number one NBA draft picks. All of these players are Hall of Famers, all drafted as forwards in the NBA. And they were Tim Duncan, James Worthy, Elgin Baylor, Chris Webber, and David Thompson. We're going to rank them from 5 to 1. Ron, you are first this week. I want to see you pick them and then roll with them, my friend.
All right. So there's only 3 that are in the conversation to me. And that's the ones that I'm surrounded by.
Okay.
I think the other 2 guys can't even be in the conversation with these other 3. So my number 5 is David Thompson. 22 points is fantastic. 9.1 boards, 3.3. They're really good numbers. 5 All-Stars, 2 All-NBA. 1 ABA. And Rookie of the Year, I'm not sure he belongs in the Hall of Fame, to be honest with you. Chris Webber, 20.7 points, 9.8 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1 missed timeout call.
It was in college.
I don't care. I don't
care.
care.
It doesn't count.
It counts. Everything counts.
It's a young kid.
5 All-Stars, 5 All-NBA, 1 rebound title, and Rookie of the Year. It was good. I don't know if it's Hall of Fame, but he had a 5-year stretch. So maybe, I guess. I don't know. But those are at the bottom, and there's a huge gap in between. Number 3, I have James Worthy. He is definitely worthy. 17.6 points, 5.1 boards, 3 assists per game, 7-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA, 1 Finals MVP, and of course, 3 championships. Number 2, I have Elgin Baylor. 27.4, 13.5, 4.3 assists, 11 All-Stars, 10 All-NBA, and a Rookie of the Year. He was in the conversation with number 1, but because those rings weren't there, that eliminated him completely. Those numbers are fantastic. I can't believe he didn't win a championship with that.
Yeah.
But number 1, not close. Not close. 19 points per game, 10.8 boards per game, 3 assists per game. His field goal percentage is 7 points higher than Baylor. Hall of Famer, of course, as they all are. 2 of them shouldn't be. 15-time All-Star, 15-time All-NBA, 15-time All-Defensive Player, 5 championships, a Rookie of the Year, 3 Finals MVPs. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And 2 MVPs just to throw it in there. Clearly, without a doubt, it is Tim Duncan.
All right.
Without a doubt.
All right. I'm going to have to give you one of these for you.
I take him over LeBron. Maybe.
The LeBron fans, they were a little upset with you.
Oh, well, I said maybe.
All right. At 5 for me, Ron, I went James Worthy. I didn't like his numbers. 17.6. You're looking at the rings. I'm going to tell you right now, those were great. Guess who helped win him those rings? Kareem, Magic, Byron Scott. So I'm not putting him ahead of certain guys. I like David Thompson's numbers at 4, 22.7, which was 5 points higher per game than James Worthy. He also had 2 All-NBAs and an All-ABA.
Yeah.
So again, 3 versus 2. I gave him the nod there. Rookie of the Year. I went Weber at 3. C-Web, one of my favorite players of all time. 20.7 points, 9.8 rebounds, almost a double-double for his career. 5-time All-NBA. Better than a little better than Thompson when it came to that. And a rebounding title. Elgin Baylor. At 2, I agree with you, though. No championship, which you think his numbers were phenomenal, that he would have gotten one. But Tim Duncan, to your point, a 15 all-defensive as well. Like, not only was he an all-NBA, and an all-star
the only
for 15,
one in the class.
Right? Was
That's
like
He's
ridiculous.
far beyond.
2 MVPs, 3 Finals MVPs, 5 championships. Still one of the best players to ever do it. You know, quiet, but one of the best to ever do it. So I'll agree with you at number 1 and 2. All right. Good one. Pick and roll. Number 1, baby. First one of the season. Ron, it is prediction time.
And you already got it wrong.
It is prediction time. Speaking of wrong,
yes.
It is prediction time. So let's bring up the final prediction for 2024. That chart. I don't know if you could see 229 wins to 216, which means I am the reigning champion of 2024. I am so excited, Ron. James, a very good week as well. Danny, 5-3, got over 500. So you finished at 7-6. Let's see how you do this season. Our man Kenny, 4-3. But again, good showing for Kenny as well. And we hope to get more names on there. So if you are joining us live right now, here's your chance to get onto the new prediction chart. Ron, for all the wonderful fans out there, your punishment, New York Yankees, my friend, you will need to garnish a Yankees cap. We know how big of a Red Sox fan you are. Hate the Empire. It's time. I mean, we did Montreal last year. This year, it's got to be the New York Yankees. So we look forward to that in the next coming weeks to see that Yankee cap on that dome during our prediction segment in a few weeks. But it is time for... He likes to just throw names out there, like, but I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out what were we talking about?
Is that number one picks overall that he maybe LeBron, Shaq, they were all number one picks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was only forwards.
Oh, yeah, it was only forwards all time. But that's great names. Absolutely. And LeBron, one of Ron's favorites. So, all right, Ron. Prediction time, 2025.
I'm actually surprised you didn't have me wear like a LeBron hat.
I mean, if I'm on a roll right now, that might be the next thing. All right.
I shouldn't have actually said that.
Now it's in my head. Yeah, now it's in my head. All right. January 5th, some NBA action. Boston Celtics at the Oklahoma City Thunder, Ron. What do you have? First pick of the new season, buddy. Here you go. Oh, he's got to think about all of these this year. Oh, boy.
I'm already overthinking. I'm going to go Boston. They've lost a lot, so I'm going to go Boston.
You're going Boston. Lakers get after this season. I like it. I like it, Danny. I am going Boston as well, Ron. I truly think that they got something to prove to some of these Western Conference teams that they still are going to be the team to beat. So I like that one. Danny, do you have a pick? I don't know if Austin's still out there. OKC. Bryce, you still out there? Boston Celtics at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Who do you pick? January 5th.
Come on, all those people that aren't saying anything, you're out there too. So let's go.
Get your name on the chart, man. Fresh new chart coming out to start.
And I give away prizes for anybody that wins the week.
Okay. All right. I don't know if Danny wants to play. All right. January 5th as well, Ron.
Come on, Danny.
Got the Los Angeles Lakers at the Houston Rockets. I think the Lakers are a mess right now.
I'm going.
I don't trust them. I went Houston.
Yeah, I went Houston too. I don't have any faith in the Lakers because you never know when somebody's going to take a day off, and just like lollygag it while instead of going to play defense, he just walks over to the bench and gets some water, or whether he leaves early. You never know with some certain player.
Danny, little rule here. We're going to give you the game. You pick the team. So you put Lakers Hawks, Lakers to win by 30, which is pretty impressive. The game we're doing is Lakers at Houston on the 5th.
Yeah, and Lakers, Boston at OKC.
Lakers beat the Rockets. So Danny is going Lakers. What about on the 5th as well, Danny? Boston Celtics at Oklahoma City Thunder. Who do you have winning? He likes to put the scores and everything. Look at this guy. All right, Danny. Stop doubting my Lakers. All right. We'll see.
I don't doubt the Lakers.
Lakers win. Do you have a Celtics at Thunder pick? All right. We're going to move on to some NHL. Tomorrow, the Boston Bruins at the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ron, who do you have?
All right, Danny, I'm coming at you right now. Boston Bruins are going to win versus Toronto. Get that. They will win this game.
You
Bet
said
on
you didn't trust the Lakers. Oh, he went Celtics, Danny. Okay. All right. So Boston Bruins at the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ron has already gone Boston. I don't trust Boston. They have been too inconsistent, and they're on a slide right now. I went Toronto. Danny went Toronto as well. Also, in the NHL, on the 6th, you got the Florida Panthers at the Colorado Avalanche. Panthers playing well on the road. I like their their chances here. I went Florida.
Yeah, I'm going Colorado on this. They're going to be at home. Florida, they've been spotty too. Like, I mean, you're talking about the Bruins being spotty. They're only 4 points ahead of the Bruins. So, I mean, nobody's playing like consistent in that division. So I'm going to go Colorado with that one.
All right. All right. Danny going Avalanche. All right. NFL action. You got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's on the 4th. Tomorrow, Saturday game.
Like I said, I just have this weird feeling that the stars are going to align for the Bengals for some crazy reason. I don't think Pittsburgh has been playing well down the stretch.
Not at all.
I'm going Cincinnati.
And that's why I picked Cincinnati as well. I just don't like the way Pittsburgh's looked the last few weeks. And I really think they're starting to overthink some things. And here you go, right? Must win for the Bengals. And Danny picked the Bengals as well. On the 5th, Ron, big game for the NFC title. Got the Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. I don't like Minnesota on the road here. I think that environment's going to be hostile. I think the Lions pull this off. So I went Detroit.
I'm going Minnesota. And look, the speech before the game is going to be everything. And I think the speech before that game for Minnesota is going to be everyone is picking Detroit for this game. Everyone says Detroit's going to win the division. Everyone. Your mothers are predicting Detroit to win. Prove everybody wrong. Minnesota.
Kevin O'Connell, head coach, Minnesota. Even Sports Unfolded was picking. That's true. I know it. It's out there.
Yeah, only Ron believed in
Ron
you.
believed because Danny picked the Lions too. All right, on the 9th, Ron, you got
it's me in Minnesota all the way.
Little college football game. So number 7, Notre Dame Fighting Irish at number 6, Penn State Nittany Lions. Obviously, it's off site. They do the at for some reason. Who do you have? Who's advancing to the final?
Here it is, right? I should go with the Lions on this case, but I'm not. I'm going Notre Dame again. Going Notre Dame.
I like the way they're playing. I like the Fighting Irish. I went Fighting Irish as well.
The Lions are going to get tamed.
Ooh, all across the board.
Across the board.
Wow. College football playoffs. Thursday, Danny, not sure you. Fighting Irish at Nittany Lions. Maybe no. All right, college basketball, Ron. On the 4th, that's tomorrow. Number 6, Florida Gators at number 10, Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky undefeated at home, even though the Florida Gators are undefeated in the regular season. They have not faced anybody in the top 10. Kentucky has and won those games. I went Kentucky.
I also went Kentucky. look, you got to beat them in Kentucky, and I don't think they're ready for it. Florida, yeah, okay, you can win all these games. This is what we were talking about before with college football, when you're winning all these games, but you haven't played anybody good yet. Well, here you go. Notre Dame. I mean, Kentucky. I was looking right at Notre Dame, and I said it.
Man, watch back to football.
Kentucky is ready for this. They're always playing somebody good. Okay, so they're ready. They don't lose at home. You got to be like perfect to beat them at home, and they are not perfect by no means. And expect Kentucky to win.
Got it. On the 5th, NCAA women's action. Number 9, Oklahoma City Sooners at number 15, Tennessee Lady Volunteers. Who do you have, Ron?
This is a tough one. I'm gonna go Oklahoma.
Wow. Okay. I went Tennessee. I think undefeated as well.
Yeah,
Tennessee,
I know.
And I like their shot. I like their chances there. So again, that's our prediction segment. Danny will be on the chart every week. Join us live Fridays at 6 p.m.
Absolutely.
For our prediction chart. Get your name on there. Ron, before we get into our final thoughts, I know you like to tell all the wonderful people out there how they can become a sponsor of Sports Unfold, and if you'd like to do that.
Absolutely. So it's very easy. You sponsor the show, your ad will be here. We will read the ad. So not only will people see it, but it will be heard on the audio version for Spotify, Amazon, Red Circle, and many more. So send us an email at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com, and we can send you out the media kit that will explain everything, what you got to do, and what you get for sponsoring. And let me tell you, Eric, like I say all the time, it's easier than going to your local coffee shop, dropping the money for a cinnamon roll and a nice hot chocolate. And I love that combination at this time of the year. We're heading for a deep freeze, and I love that. Right? Nice warm cinnamon roll. Ooh. Costs less than that. So get on this. If you're a business, look, we're all over the place. We're on the radio in the Georgia area. We're on the radio and the internet radio for Providence, Rhode Island. And you're going to get a lot of listens and views. Lots.
So like, share, follow our show. Check us out on all our social media platforms. Again, ticker running on the bottom tells you all of the different ways you can like, share, follow us. Tell your friends about us. Join us live every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the best sports podcast on the planet. I hope you enjoyed tonight. We want to always end our shows with our final thoughts. And our final thoughts don't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It can be about anything going on in the world today. Ron, you are first today. So your final thoughts.
Yeah, I was trying to think of all these different things, with these sports headlines and stuff like that. I have 2 things.
Wow. Okay.
We were not, yes, I know. We were not on, after Greg Gumbel passed away.
Yes.
So I have to say rest in peace for Greg Gumbel. And let me tell you, he has an incredible history in sports between the NFL, and his show on HBO. And then, of course, you got to mention, the Today Show. And I believe, didn't he do the games for the New York Knicks? I believe he did.
I'm not sure. The interesting one for me was watching the Patriots game on Sunday.
The Super Bowl.
Well, he did the Super Bowl, but he also did the Vinatieri snow game.
The Vinatieri kick, yeah.
The last game in Foxborough, and they talked about it. So
it's Greg Gumbel. He's a legend, right? Legend. So rest in peace. But I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. It's only been a couple of days so far. We're in 3 days in, and there's been a lot of chaos around already. We need to kind of step back and just start to enjoy life instead of taking all these things and just going off on whether what happened in New Orleans. So we want to wish them well as well. Vegas, that it's only the 3rd and we're already dealing with 2 incidents. I don't want to do the school thing and the politics thing. We just need to settle down, enjoy the year, and do it the right way. That's it.
Well said, Ron. Happy New Year also to everyone. With you all. Well, thank you, Danny. I did want my final thought. Boxer Paul Bamba, 35, died 6 days after winning a title fight. He won the WBA Gold Cruiserweight title, and ended up passing away 6 days later after that fight. And we talk about sometimes these athletes and maybe making too much money, or we'll talk about these athletes, being selfish. Here was a man who died for his sport and something that he wanted to do at 35. So think about how much life he had left. We obviously give our condolences to his family and again, rest in peace. It's sad that right after we've done these things with our in memoriam, we experienced even more tragedy when it comes to losing athletes. But obviously not well known, but again, it doesn't matter, right? He gave his life.
You had fans somewhere, right?
Sport, right? Gave his life to that sport, and went out as a champion. A sad way, but he went out as a champion. And then I did want to reiterate the tragedy in New Orleans and also Las Vegas, and our thoughts and prayers are with all those that suffered, all those that are still trying to heal from it. And again, to Ron's point, listen, we ask for it every single show. We just want some peace on earth. It's not that difficult. Honestly, people put your differences aside sometimes and understand that everybody has lives and it affects people in so many different ways.
We're living proof that could happen. I'm a Red Sox fan. He's a Yankee fan. I mean, what's worse than a Yankee fan?
You wearing a Yankee hat?
That's awful.
That's going to be really bad.
Sick thinking of it right now.
So I want to thank everybody that joined us live. Danny, Austin, Bryce, thank you guys for joining us. As well, check us out every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting at Sports Unfolded on Facebook. Check out our Sports Unfolded sports poll page where our Hall of Fame voting is up now. Currently.
We forgot to do that.
So you can vote for your Hall of Famers and get them in right now for the Olympics. Irene Woost, Lindsey Vaughn, Ding Ning, Shelley Ann Fraser Price, and Marta for the Olympics. And then also for the NHL, got Guy Lafleur, Danny Gier, Phil Esposito, Bill Barber, and Reggie Leach. Those polls are open right now at the Sports Unfolded sports poll page on Facebook. Get on it. We go till the end of the month, so you have an opportunity to elect the next 2 inductees into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. Having a lot of fun with that as well. And check out the Sports Unfolded website, and you can check out the Hall of Fame page there as well with all of the inductees into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. Ron, I don't know if I'll be here next week. If not, Kenny will fill in for me, but the show will go on. So tune in Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting and at Sports Unfolded. And all we ever ask for, I'll say it again, is that we get some peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody. Happy New Year.